round 5 to at least guarantee, you know, that top cut spot.
Yeah, and let's jump into it. It's game 1, round 2.
Ooh, we see a 3 and a 5. So for now, red players winning the die rolls. So
Malice is going first. Both players choosing to use the blue sleeves here. The players had the choice of using the blue or red sleeves, so it's all based on their personal preference.
Yep.
Yeah, Damien didn't get the memo. They should have made him breeze sleeve. You know, say sorry, you're on the red side. So
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, Tom. I'm not waiting for these players to breeze sleeve every
you're gonna have
round.
to put the red sleeves. At least he's got the red T-shirt. You know. So.
True. All right, Malice going first. We saw what it could do in Master Duel, but we're going to see a normal summon of Malice White Rabbit starting off this match.
And we see the effect Veiler coming up from Isaias.
Is it a sort of like you smell weakness situation? Because that White Rabbit is not the thing that you start with most of the time. I feel like if you have anything else to do, you'd probably rather start with that. No
And yes.
Yeah, unless you're playing something like TB11, it's not as good as the other ones. And yeah, you're right, Tom. Effect Veiler shutting down Damien's turn here.
It's really interesting because I feel like it's a habit for Malice players to be setting the card first, and then that might have thrown Isaias off from activating Effect Veiler, but he didn't set the card first, so I'm wondering what it is that he kept in his hand.
And then from Isaias here, Crystron Inclusion is an excellent start. It's really the key card to really get your Crystron strategy online. Going to add a Crystron monster from the deck to the hand.
Yeah, it is fantastic to start with. So usually in the Crystron deck, you maybe add the Sulfefnir or the Sulfador, and it looks like we have the Sulfefnir now. But if you summon Sulfador via its own effect, it's going to lock you out of things from the extra deck that aren't machines. And normally in Crystron, you're kind of used to it. It's kind of fine. But when you're adding in the canines, maybe you don't want to do that just yet. So we'll see what the plan is. Here we are summoning the Sulfefnir, destroying the inclusion because you have to destroy something when Sulfefnir is summoned by its own effect.
And you also get that bonus of the graveyard effect now being used from inclusion here by Isaias. You'll be able to banish it to special summon back a Crystron monster from the graveyard.
And here comes Sulfefnir sending, Sulfador sending 2 monsters from the deck. 2 cards even from the deck to the grave, and it feels like a card you have to negate because it's so powerful. But then if you do negate it, you know what's coming next. You know, there's 2 level 5s. Could be an Infinity, could be a Ripper, could be anything.
Oh, but the Fualos is immediately met by an Ash Blossom.
Wow, that's unfortunate. And at the same time now means that Damien has used a monster from the end, so this has suddenly turned quite gray, I'd say, for the Frenchman, and we do get to resolve this Ripper.
Yeah, you kind of get that free extra Azuna activation if you get the monster from the hand. I feel like a lot of players say, you know, if you activate your Fualos against a canine deck and then they ash it, it's just devastating.
This is a huge Dominus Impulse trying to stop the Jokul. This is going to prevent both of those level 5 monsters from being special summoned from the hand. No trap card in the graveyard, so they will remain in Isaiah's hand, though.
Yeah, what is there to do for Isaias? I'm looking at his hand thinking, you know, maybe the Sulfador can't make its way onto the field because it might have to destroy a Crystron card, or maybe I'm remembering that incorrectly, but he's used the Jokul now, so yeah, is that an attack?
Looks like Lupus is coming down and
that's an interesting one. We have not normal summon yet, so yeah, we're just tribute summoning over the Lupus. That's not something you see every day.
Yeah, Damien down to 1 card in hand, so you have to tribute summon rather than normal summon, but you can just bring out this Azuna straight away. But once you've used the normal summon, it makes your Crystron line slightly weaker because you can no longer use the River Stormer and search Scrap Recycler because you would have to normal summon the Scrap Recycler if you want to use it. So,
and the big thing here for Isaias is that Damien used that Mulcharmy Fualos, and so all his canine cards are online, so being able to tribute someone for that Jokul gave him access to Izuna, and now more monsters are on the field. Canines really are on the hunt from those monster effects being activated in the hand or graveyard.
I mean, we're just gonna push a lot of damage. We do have access to some interesting options in the extra deck. I do see a card that is not super popular overall. Chronomaly V-Mana could be an option here on top of the extra deck. Let's see.
I'm a big fan of that card.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like a rank 5, like Evolzar Logia kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, it does make a lot of sense, especially in the Crystron Canine deck, because it is a machine. So when you've played a card like the Sulfador that requires you to only summon machines, it gives you an option. But here we see a
Valon is just so good, especially in such a simplified game state. I mean, it's hard to get out of it, and we can even go into Zeus, and I do think that could be a right decision. I mean, not really a lot of end and graveyard interaction, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, this is tough to break.
Especially with one card in hand, drawing to 2. Gonna one shuffle the deck.
Yep.
See, maybe if I'm Damien, I'm drawing my card for my turn first, then seeing if there's even a reason to waste the time on shuffling the deck here, because he's in a tough spot.
Fair enough.
But because you got to pay attention to that clock.
Yeah, I mean, it has been only 5 minutes to be fair. So I mean,
if you start from the beginning, playing to save your time, it kind of adds up there in the end.
I totally agree, and yeah, already wasn't the most promising start. We need a miracle off the top. Can we pull this off from Damien, or are we just gonna pick the cards up? It seems like that's the latter. So game 1 goes to Isaias.
Yeah, really on the backs of that Effect Veiler shutting down the White Rabbit, which is really the only Malice card that Damien had access to. And even still, a lot of players, a majority of them don't play TB11, so Malice White Rabbit isn't a great starter for the deck to begin with, but not even able to access like MTP07 means he wasn't going to have that follow-up despite his interaction. So that Veiler was actually pretty key, because had he had access to the trap card, he would have been able to search for Dormouse and had the follow-up. I mean, he still would have had to deal with the Valon and the Zeus that was on the other side of the field, but maybe there would have been something there. Yeah,
really interesting. I'm amazed to see him like not set that it was a droplet in the end. Like sometimes you set that first, it can psych your opponent out of using a card like Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence. You know, just give them a little bit of doubt. I mean, maybe they would have ended exactly the same way, but still, it doesn't really seem like it costs much.
Maybe a bit of nerves, as mentioned. This is the first match that Damien actually plays today, so you know he's still maybe a bit rusty as compared to the other duelists who already had to face a tough game 1, and nerves might get into him, or I mean, probably we might have even seen that Effect Veilers anyways, and then it wouldn't have changed a thing. But now he gets to go first again. We have seen with Yuna just how much the deck can do, so we are obviously gonna wish him best of luck to maybe draw, you know, a more promising opening.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another key part of that game was the Fualos being met by the Ash Blossom, because that means he used the monster effect from the hand, but didn't yield any positive results from it, only negative, letting all those K9 monsters be able to activate their effects.
Yeah, that's gonna be a always key component of any, you know, duels involving K9 cards. It's always so rough to maneuver through them, and that's why, you know, the Yami deck is so well positioned against it, because engine by engine it just doesn't use, you know, effects in the end or graveyard.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. Isaias drawing the Lupus, but knowing how to play on anyways. Heads up, being able to tribute summon. I think it's something you end up doing quite a lot between the Crystron and the K9 engine, because of all of those level 5s. So you need to keep in mind that you can tribute summon when you need to, and it was really important there that he did.
Yep, they really synergize well together, which is why we see so many players looking at using this strategy. I mean, before Justice Hunter's release, I know everyone was looking at Vanquish Soul K9. Wasn't a lot of talk about the K9 Crystron deck, but now that the set is out, YCS Vancouver has been played, it is becoming one of the top decks to look at going into any tournament.
Let's see this opener from Damien. Doesn't seem like there is a Mulcharmy. This Purulia coming down.
And yeah, a slight upgrade to the
chassis.
Yeah, slight upgrade to the rabbit with the chassis cap. But we're going to be negating it anyway.
Again, an interruption with that impermanence, shutting down the triple tactic cards. But we see a Sign in Mining, interesting inclusion in the deck. But oof, there is an Ash Blossom on it.
Damien Breeze, Isaias has the answer for it every time he does anything. But a Link summon here from Chessy Cat is going to send it to the graveyard for potentially a Link Karibo.
Yeah, but then the question is, do we have the Marcher? Do we have a Bestial?
This is Link Disciple. This is unexpected, but Link Disciple plus a backup Adagnister. His plays are nowhere near finished despite those 2 interactions from Isaias.
Yeah, Malice, one of those decks that, I mean, we're seeing these hand traps, and it was very effective in game 1, but I feel like it's quite known for just breezing past cards like Effect Veiler and Imperm, and maybe why these cards kind of fell out of popularity over the last year or so, but we're seeing them all come back now.
Wow, and a third interruption plus
A fourth.
Izuna? What is it going to be?
It is Azuna. 4 interactions
Wow.
from the hand here for Isaias going second.
That's unbelievable. What a end. I mean, 3 different interruptions plus the Izuna. What a dream opener, honestly.
Yep, Izuna is going to let him send a canine monster from the deck to the graveyard. Of course, it's going to be the canine Lupus. Lupus can summon himself back from the graveyard, and now performing an Exceed summon that'll be untargetable as long as Lupus is there as a material.
Yeah, is it just gonna be Valon? What are we going for?
Could be the Valon to put that backup Ignister face down.
And that's going to be the case. We resolve putting it face down. Have we stopped Damien once again? What a end. Wow. I mean, playing really an insane amount of interruptions.
If I remember correctly, Isaias was he was the player who qualified using Gym Knights, actually, which is a deck that you can't use here at the World Championship since Battle of the Legends Monster Mayhem's not legal. But he's showing it's not the deck that got him there; it's himself, the player, as he is piloting this deck well. I mean, drawing those 4 interactions is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and I think I had a peek at the last card in his hand. It looked like a Chaotic Elements to me, but was that a Sulfador off the top? So going to be able to summon both a Sulfador and a Jokul. Jokul's so powerful in this deck, which is why players are more or less running 6 copies between Chaotic Elements and the 3 main deck copies of Jokul, just because those Crystron canines, Crystron monsters are so powerful to get out from the hand.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't get much better than this. Let's say, let's be honest. And yeah, just look at this. Wow.
Damien still has that card face down.
Yeah.
A couple cards.
The droplet in the previous game.
Torrential Tribute. Let's.
Ooh, different dimension ground. Okay, it's something.
It does something for sure. It's a card. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
It is. It's a trap card.
It's a Yu-Gi-Oh trap card, normal trap card.
It's not going to get the inclusion, though. The inclusion can still go to the graveyard because it is a spell and not a monster. And then we're still going to be staring down the Valon. I mean, what could you even draw if Isaias just goes to his battle phase, cleans up the field? Like, at minimum, that's what you're going to be seeing. But, I mean, we could be seeing even more than that, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, we can just make the same field as in the previous game, and that was enough. We are now in top deck mode for Damien.
Yeah, we're gonna see like maybe Zeus Valon again, some follow-up.
Yeah, I was about to say we didn't use the Jokul, so thankfully Isaias remembers last moment and before committing to the Exceed summon.
Yep, the Jokul's gonna add Izuna.
Yep. I mean, might as well. Only upside, we do not have 2 cards in hand. We can't normal summon those, you know, K9s, I guess.
You gotta look at the silver lining.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
All right, yep, so rank 5 is going to be coming down. Looks like he's looking at K9 Ripper.
Yeah, I mean, it could be just a Reaper Zeus angle once more, but let's see.
Do you think he runs Lantern? Because we didn't see it in the last game, but it feels like a card that most people would be running in their deck. So let's see if he searches one now.
Yeah.
Got to detach. And I think just maybe clarifying whether the card gets sent to the grave, but I don't think the card's not considered a monster while it is underneath an XYZ monster. It's just an XYZ material. It's a sort of formless void, not a monster, so it is not banished. It is just sent to the graveyard.
Well, it doesn't leave the field either, yep. And Lantern, as you're saying, instead of like Jokul summons from the hand, Lantern summons back from the graveyard.
And yeah, that's a big deal because this is so much damage. We have case for K9, maybe a one-off in deck. Not quite gonna be the case, it seems.
No case.
Or maybe we sided out the target and that's what's happening, so might get a warning for it, but I mean...
Not a big deal.
Yeah, not a big deal at all. Yeah, I think that's what's going on, as we can see. Yeah, we just move on to the battle phase, push a lot of damage, make that Zeus. We can even make another rank 5. I mean, this is a brutal turn from, yeah, what has been not much of a Christian deck all around, just using them, you know, to access these K9s, but I mean, it works, so.
Yeah, I mean, you say not much, but like, because of the different dimension ground,
Yep.
obviously you can't use the Crystron cards, but that's forced Damien to have that card in his deck and set it and activating it. So having it, it's already done the work just by kind of being there, even if he didn't get to use it, because it kind of forced the card out of Damien, which has done relatively little to the K9 part of the deck. I'm wondering what even Damien could have in his mind to draw. I don't think he's running Elemental Hero Bubble Man.
That surely be a fun one, but not quite enough regardless. But ooh, we see some interesting inclusions here. Obviously, you have a lot of freedom with your extra deck when you're building this deck, and you can include some interesting one-offs. In this case, we will see this Infinitrack River Stormer.
Yeah, game just being paused for a second here. I don't think there's anything wrong with the materials. It just looks like River Stormer is 2 level 5s. Maybe Damien just wants a translation of the card, possibly.
It gets scrap recycler, right? Like, that's might as well just say, yeah, it's scrap recycler. Like,
Detaching material. I think it does more things,
I mean,
but I don't know what they are.
In terms of this game, that's all we're really going to be using here for Isaias. But it's good to always make a translation for a card if you do need it. If that is what we are, in fact, waiting on.
Get Scrap Recycler makes Zeus pretty good card.
Yeah. I know all my Earth Machine fans out there know this card all too well. It has been one of their key cards for many years for all those dedicated duelists.
Indeed.
But this is kind of more of what I expected. If like, I mean, Malice is still a strong deck, but we saw like, you know, really showcasing a way to play Malice. You need to find like some new ways to use it to really have it line up and match up against those powerful decks that were released out of Justice Hunters.
Yeah, I don't think we can fault the Malice deck too much for this game when your opponent has, you know, the 4 interruptions followed by the, you know, the premium starter cards for their own deck. It's so difficult for any deck to beat that. But you have to say, like, maybe some other decks, you know, are slightly more efficient at playing into hand traps. Maybe the Yummy deck, for example, it's not going to be too fussed about cards like Effect Veiler. Whereas, I guess enough of them against Malice is enough to do the job.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess Justice Hunter's card just, you know, wanted to show why they are strong after that round 1 rough match for the Yami deck, and Damien last to 1 card, just moments away most likely from picking up his deck, and I mean, solid effort, but you gotta feel bad a bit for him, and there goes the handshake. It's gonna be an impressive 2-0 score by Isaias. Dominating win, honestly, all around.
Yeah, for sure. So we've seen now Malice win one in a very convincing fashion, but unfortunately lose one in a very convincing fashion, going first each time as well. So slightly unfortunate for Damien there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, going first, you're feeling pretty good. Didn't draw like too explosive of a hand to begin with. So even when you have like a kind of a slower kind of hand, maybe you can play through 1, 2, 3 interruptions, but the 4th one is always going to get you.
I love to see that celebrating pose, you know, there from Isaias. I mean, great start. I mean, 2-0 doesn't get much better than that. Still, you know, needs a couple more wins to guarantee a spot in that top cut tomorrow. But I mean, I'm sure Damien will just try his best to stay in this 1-1. He's alright, so he'll try his best to move forward. But I mean, Crystron is up there. We mentioned could be one of the decks.
It's incredible, and that was an excellent display from Isaias why it is a deck and a contender here in this format, and you know, a well-built deck there. I don't know how many players came in like packing cards like Effect Veiler and Infinite Permanence in their main deck, but showing how they can really pay dividends, especially when you're lining up against some of like a deck like Malice as well, because they're not always going to have the Dormouse plus a trap. They're going to have to find other ways to play, and just each little interaction, trading 1 for 1, when each one of your like level 5 monsters is so powerful. Like you resolve 1 Izuna, you get so much off just 1 card. All your other support cards around that can really help you win the game quickly, as we just saw there.
Yeah, so either of you going to come and join me in the prediction game of predicting the Crystron K9 deck, or are you going to stick with your Vanquish Soul and your...
I mean, after that game,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
going to switch into Team K9 Crystron.
There we go.
I mean,
Come over here. Come over here. It's, you know, the weather's nice.
It seems really good. That deck is scary, and it's not just like they have to draw like you look at like K9 Vanquish Soul. If you draw Holly Sue versus when you don't, it's night and day different how that deck operates. There's so many different combinations of cards you can draw in the Crystron strategy to really get things going. So many level 5 monsters, so many ways to get level 5 monsters on the field to each access each part of the engines.
And I mean, the other silver lining about this match is that if you notice, it only took around 15 minutes to be completed, which means, as you know, differently from the previous round, we'll be able to show you guys another match because we do have a backup feature just in case for, you know, events like this. So in just a few, you know, minutes while they get the setup ready, I guess we can move on to yet another exciting match. In the meantime, what I can do is actually update you guys on some of the results from round 1. Maybe, you know, it's not that easy to get informations about them, but I mean, in table 1 we saw an amazing match between what was, you know, Charlie Fatch and Tom, and in the end the winner was Tom indeed. So also Charlie is gonna have to, you know, try his run at a second World Championship win with that 0-1 start.
And I see here in round 2, Charlie's actually playing against James, so both of them had lost round 1
Yep.
and then had to play another person from, you know, the Americas. Tough road there for both those players.
Absolutely, but yeah, we had some amazing clashes, of course, as mentioned. That match we briefly saw at the end between Julien and Lorenzo. In the end, ended with Julien taking it. So the European champion again also taking, you know, a knockout in round 1, and now trying his best to, you know, stay in it and moving forward with another, you know, record. But yeah, we see some interesting results.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about the 7 rounds too, because so many good players, like they're going to lose. They're all good players. There isn't a bad duelist here. So even losing round 1, you have more Swiss rounds to play.
But I think it's time to just jump back into action as we have another amazing match for you guys. There it is. It's still only game 2 and it's going to be the one between Johannes and Ryohei. And as you can see, we have yet another deck among the types Lunalight. Are you guys surprised at all?
Oh, I'm a little bit surprised, but I did kind of talk about if you can get a good meta call, you think people are going to be playing field breakers as opposed to those interactions from the hands. Lunalight has the opportunity to shine. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it's actually 1-1. I think they're in game number 3, which makes a lot more sense with the time on the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see you, Billy, showing me that deck in your deck box this weekend. The Lunalight deck, it seems to be a favorite of yours, and it's certainly an interesting one.
Yeah.
Does quite
Yeah.
a lot of powerful things.
Yeah, no, I love the Lunalight deck because, I mean, if Droll and Lockbird is a popular card in the format, Lunalights are going to struggle. It's really tough against the deck because the new card, Lunalight Gold Leo, being a secret rare out of Duelist Advance, is really wonderful for the deck, but it needs to add a card to your hand and then discard a card, and then the cards you discard is usually going to add you another card, so if you get hit by a Droll and Lockbird there, it can be quite devastating. You can still go into something like number 41, Baguska, the terribly tired Tapier, but it can really shut down your deck. But if, like I said, if your opponent's not playing those hand interactions, and you can have access to the Lunalight Liger Dancer, which is their powerful new fusion monster with 3,800 attack. It's unaffected by all other card effects. It can attack twice. You can send a Lunalight Fusion from your extract to the graveyard as a quick effect to destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls. It's an absolutely incredible card. Kind of reminds me of the same vein as Masterpiece, the true Draco Slaying King.
Absolutely, I mean, and Yam is definitely one of those matchups for which the deck is, I guess, designed to beat, because they don't really have an out to the card if you're able to, you know, bring up your big fusion monster. So we'll see whether, you know, Ryohei is able to stop it in his track. I mean, it was definitely a deck that was popular somewhat in the OCG, so I'm sure he has, you know, played against it in the past. But it will be interesting to see, you know, the approach on as well the Yami deck, as we have seen different deck lists over here, for example, as mentioned, winning YCS Vancouver. And yeah, we'll see whether he agrees with our take on the deck, or he's gonna take us to school.
Definitely can't wait to see this matchup, and we're in the exciting game number 3. I love how all the players here, they came prepared. We haven't seen a lot of people playing slow, taking too long to think. They're practiced and prepared because they knew that these time rules were going to be different at the World Championship, and it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, I want to see maybe a sphere mode, against Yummy or against Lunalight.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the same
especially
vein.
if you open up with like the ideal turn 1 field and you have like a couple copies of Liger Dancer on top of a Baguska, yeah, the sphere mode can really catch you off guard. Lava Golem's also pretty strong against Lunalight as well.
Yeah, let's see. Who do we think will get to go first this time?
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Ryuhei, just blind, but you never know.
Okay.
It could,
How?
hey, I'm a man of chances. Let's see. Let's find out.
50-50, I guess. Let's see if you win it. It looking like the other way around for me, but let's see.
All right. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
So it could be a potential. Maybe there was a draw in Lockwood that got cited
Yeah,
in one game number 1.
fair enough.
It looks like we're starting off with polymerization.
Polymerization, yeah, is the card to start things off.
This is good.
Yeah.
Using Black Sheep and Silverhound, they both have effects when they are sent to the graveyard here. But he's going to summon Perfume Dancer, and as it dances, it adds a Lunalight Perfume from the deck to the hand.
Black Sheep takes me back to those 2017, not gonna lie.
Little darker days, yeah.
Fair enough. I mean,
Fusion Substitute, Norden, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
No,
I don't know.
It was fun, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the most powerful combos we had at the time, but nowadays people are using Black Sheep even more effectively because you can start adding back polymerizations and things like that.
Yeah, way more effective in the Lunalight strategy, but the infinite impermanence cutting off the Lunalight Perfume here from the Perfume Dancer is huge because not only does the Lunalight Perfume special summon back a Lunalight from the graveyard, it's also a way you're going to access stuff like Lunalight Tiger or Lunalight Wolf from your deck to your hand. But it looks like he's going to add back the Silver Hound with the Black Sheep effect since it was sent to the graveyard.
We saw an impermanence from Ryuhei. I mean, the question is always when you play against a deck that might not be, the most popular, where to use your interruptions, and we'll see whether that was eventually the correct choice. From.
And the Silver Hound here is going to special summon out the Leo. The Leo is going to add from the deck to the hand unless Ryuhei has a response, and it's going to be Dominus Purge. With the trap in the graveyard already is huge because Leo also has the second effect that if Lunalight's sent to the graveyard, you can add one back from the graveyard. So negating it and destroying it is huge.
Yeah, this is rough for Johannes. Like, losing the Search and the Monster can sometimes be really devastating. A bit like one of Marcello's favorite cards, I want to say, the Cyframe Gamma. You get the negating and destroying can sometimes just mean all the difference there.
This might just be an SP Little Knight here.
Yeah, we see it on the top. We're thinking about it for sure.
That's really rough because it looks like Johannes has got 2 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust in his hand.
And had to face 2 interactions from the hand, but they were both trap cards.
Yeah, you can see he's smiling a little bit, but yeah, I think that's about it.
This
Just
is
gonna banish a trap, but
brutal here.
Wow.
Yeah, get that out of here, the the Dominance Purge.
And that's a pass. Yep.
All right, play back to Ryuhei. Will he be able to capitalize on the disruption that he had?
Yeah, it was such a strong start for Johannes there, backed up by the 2 thrusts as well, but the absolute perfect answer for Ryuhei.
Yep, just an SP Little Knight. It's going to have to see if that is going to be enough. I have a feeling it's not. I can't. I don't want to give up on my Lunalight man here.
Well, sometimes depending on the hand for the Yummy deck, right? It might be the case that it's tough to play into. If you just open like 1 or 2 Yummies or just a single Yummy, and then you have to use an effect, and then the SP can banish something. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case here. That looks like a copy of Sky Striker Engage for Ryuhei. So
He does still have the Silverhound interaction here. He can banish it alongside a Lunalight Fusion to negate that engage. We'll have to see if that is going to be enough, though.
What do you think of negating engage? Because I feel like you just want to wait maybe for drones. I mean, no one is really playing other targets, but just in case, get rid of the drones.
Yeah, because then if you get rid of the drones, I guess, there's going to be tough to be able to get to Kagari to add it back later. But we're going to see a normal summon of Flawless. This could be a Typhon just coming down. Nope, it's a Link summon.
Yeah, Purulia sent to the graveyard.
Almirage.
Almirage.
And that is a Link 1 monster, and now he can special summon yummy monsters from the hand.
That is the case. No effect, of course, to play around that SP, but that lock into a synchro summon could be the Capsule. Let's see.
Lollipop Way, not the one you want to have, but as long as you can get into Cupsy Way, you're ready to go. It's going to add 2 yummy cards from the deck to the hand, and he'll have to send one to the graveyard.
Yeah, no change.
The Lollipop Way, I feel like, looks the happiest out of all of them. He's like, I have my lollipop. I'm so happy. But adding Cupsy and Cookie, the other 2 yummies.
Yeah, maybe we should have added next to the croissant macaron like Lollipop against Cookie.
We're talking about all these croissants and macarons. I'm like, is it lunchtime yet? I'm getting hungry.
Looking at all the yummies.
I had the same problem when Dolce's came out. I was like demoing those cards, and I'm like, these cards are just making me hungry. I could go for a waffle right now. But the Cupsy's going to activate the effect on the field, and this is going to prompt Johannes to chain SP Lunalight to try and banish both.
We are just having a think whether we want to put back in the extra deck, but no, that's not going to be the case. So now we're free to go. And this deck can surprisingly push a lot of damage thanks to the field spell. So
speaking of surprises, he adds Yummy Surprise from the deck to the hand.
Yeah, once you get that field spell in rotation, all of your monsters gain 500 attack for every other beast on the field, which is just so much damage. It's a bit like equipping like Mage Power, or sorry, United We Stand to like all of your monsters at once. It's so like, much damage.
It's like exponential growth.
Yeah.
Not just a little bit at a time. They all gain the boost for each one, and there is...
Here comes Mignon.
The field spell that we're talking about.
I mean, you only need a monster now to just win, because you bring back 1, everything is already boosted by 1500, so as long as you summon a 4th one, that's 8000 by default without their attacks. So as straightforward as it gets, and you can just get into the Lollipop Way if you want and summon back 2, and that's game. So that could be an easy way out for UA. Obviously, you never know what Johannes is holding into. Could be an Nibiru. You don't want to, you know, maybe expose yourself.
Could be 2 copies of Triple Tactic Thrust.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nowadays, what you can often do is just see if you can save some things for the battle phase, because there's quite a lot of effects, like, for example, Izuna and Nibiru, where you have to use them during the main phase, or even something like Effect Veiler. So many interruptions are main phase only.
But yeah, it seems like although, you know, there was a solid effort from Johannes and his Lunalight deck, this doesn't quite seem to be the case. And as our graphic shows, this duelist unfortunately lost round 1. So whoever is going to be knocked out pretty much has to win from here on, because they will be a rough, you know, 0-2 start.
Yep, and this looks like a synchro summon for Lollipop Way, which is going to bring back 2 yummy monsters, as we already said. They're all gaining 500 for each one, so 2,000 attack points on top of what they're already at. So no matter what their original attacks are, that's 8,000 just right there on the field.
Is an handshake, as mentioned. This is enough to push for game. Nice smile from both. Love to see the sportsmanship, but it is going to be Rio A advancing with a 1-1 record.